Status is not announced, it is perceived. Most people try to raise their status by speaking louder, proving more, or explaining themselves. This always fails. Status is not built through effort, it is built through positioning. Psychology decides status before logic ever gets involved. People do not rank you based on what you say. They rank you based on how you move, how you respond, and what you do not react to. This video is not about confidence tricks or social manipulation. It is about subtle psychological behaviors that instantly shift how others place you in their internal hierarchy. These are not theories, they are observable patterns. When applied correctly, they change how you are treated without you asking for respect. The first psychological trick is controlled response timing. Most people answer immediately. They rush to reply. They rush to react. They rush to fill silence. This signals low status. High status individuals do not respond on impulse. They pause. They process. They decide. This is not hesitation, it is control. When you answer too quickly, you signal availability. Availability lowers perceived value. When you delay your response slightly, you introduce uncertainty. Uncertainty forces attention. People start watching you more closely. They wait. They adjust their behavior. This is not about playing games, it is about emotional regulation. A controlled pause signals that your attention is selective. Selective attention is read as importance. This applies everywhere, in conversation, in messages, in conflict, in negotiation. The person who responds last often controls the frame, not because they are smarter, but because they are not reactive. Reactivity signals vulnerability. Control signals status. The second psychological trick is refusing to over-clarify low-status behavior. Over-explains. It justifies, it defends, it fills gaps. High-status behavior states and stops. When you over-clarify, you signal insecurity. You communicate that you need agreement. People instinctively sense this, even if they cannot explain why. A short, clear statement followed by silence creates authority. Silence forces the other person to process your words. When you keep talking, you remove their need to think. Thinking elevates the speaker, not the listener. This is why leaders speak less and are listened to more. They are not trying to convince, they are positioning. Refusing to over-clarify signals that your perspective does not require validation. Validation seeking lowers status. Self-contained communication raises it. The third psychological trick is emotional neutrality under pressure. Pressure reveals hierarchy. Most people leak emotion when stressed. Their voice changes, their pace increases, their tone sharpens. This instantly lowers status. High-status individuals do not disappear emotionally, but they regulate. They remain steady even when challenged. This creates psychological dominance without aggression. People read emotional stability as competence. Competence equals safety. Safety equals authority. This is why calm people are often followed even without formal power. They stabilize the emotional environment. Humans gravitate toward stability. If you want to elevate your status, you must become emotionally boring during chaos, not detached, not cold, stable. The person who remains centered when others escalate automatically rises. The fourth psychological trick is selective disclosure. Low-status individuals share everything: their plans, their worries, their emotions. They believe openness creates connection. In reality, unfiltered disclosure removes mystique. Mystique creates gravity. High-status individuals share selectively. They reveal information only when it serves positioning. This does not mean lying. It means understanding that not everything needs to be said. Information is leverage. When people know less about you, they project more. Projection increases perceived depth. Perceived depth increases status. This is why powerful people often feel unreadable. not because they are hiding, but because they are filtering. Filtering signals control. Control signals power. The fifth psychological trick is non-attachment to outcomes. This is the most misunderstood and most powerful shift. Low-status behavior is outcome-dependent. Approval changes mood. Rejection destabilizes attention, defines self-worth. High-status behavior remains consistent, outcome-independent. When you are not emotionally tied to a specific result, people feel it. They sense that you are not seeking, but choosing. Choice elevates status. Neediness lowers it. This does not mean indifference. It means self-sufficiency. When you can walk away calmly, you gain leverage. Leverage changes dynamics instantly. People respect those who are not afraid to disengage, not dramatically, not emotionally, quietly. This quiet independence is one of the strongest status signals. Now understand this. These tricks work because they shift perception, not because they manipulate. Status exists in the mind of others. You do not claim it, you allow others to assign it. Every behavior either raises or lowers your placement. Response timing, clarity, emotional regulation, information control, outcome independence. These are signals. Signals are constantly read even when no one speaks. Most people sabotage their status without realizing it. They explain too much, react too fast, share too freely, and attach too deeply. High-status individuals do the opposite. Not aggressively, not arrogantly, subtly. This is why status often feels unfair. It is not about merit. It is about psychological cues. Once you see this, you cannot unsee it. The goal is not domination. The goal is positioning. When you shift how you position yourself, the world adjusts. People interrupt you less, question you less, and defer more. Not because you demanded it, but because your behavior suggested it. Status is not loud. It is calm, measured, and internally anchored. If you apply even one of these shifts, people will feel it immediately. They may not comment on it, but their behavior will change. They will listen more, push less, and treat you with subtle respect. That is real elevation, not announced, not requested, perceived. This was not manipulation, it was awareness, and awareness is power.